Yeah. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ego, and here we go. Alright, I gotta ask y'all a favor. If you haven't already, I need y'all to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and after you watch the video, leave some comments for me to let me know what y'all think. I would greatly appreciate it. So sit back, relax, and tune in to the story about a very historic rap beef between two of hip-hop's greatest artists of all time, Drake versus Kendrick Lamar, as I take you through a very detailed breakdown of every single song throughout the back and forth between the two. We have seen and heard many all-time great artists get in the studio and deliver art through music that has solidified hip-hop as one of the most popular genres of music in the world. With all things comes competition, and in hip-hop, a lot of artists we have seen turn into superstars came from battle rapping in their neighborhoods. Battle rap is another form of hip-hop when two rappers are face-to-face dropping bars at each other with or without a beat playing in the background. This would be implemented into the music industry and called diss tracks. These type of songs would come when artists have differences and issues with each other and turn into a rap beef. Throughout the years, hip-hop has had many infamous rap beefs that delivered several legendary diss tracks that actually would turn into top-selling hits. The most memorable beefs usually include some of the biggest artists of all time, like Jay-Z versus Nas, which gave us tracks like Takeover and Ether. Biggie versus Tupac gave us one of the most disrespectful diss tracks in hip-hop history with Tupac's Hit 'Em Up. And Ice Cube versus his former group NWA when he dropped the classic No Vaseline track that took shots at every member left in NWA and the manager. There are several others that I didn't mention, but as you can see, rap beef has been a part of hip-hop for years, with some staying in the music and some resulting in violence outside the music. The most recent battle between two artists that are also included in the all-time greats conversation is the competitive turned very personal beef between two of today's most polarizing artists that have been at the top for over a decade, Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. Drake, who is from Toronto, Canada, is undoubtedly one of the greatest artists we've ever seen. His versatility to make hit-making music under several different genres is what has solidified his spot at the top of the music industry as a whole, not just in hip-hop. Let me be clear, when I say at the top, I'm not saying he's number one, which in my eyes he is when it comes to hip-hop. But he's definitely top 5 or top 10 in multiple genres, and the numbers back that up. His fan base stretches globally across the world, and whether you hate him or love him, you can't deny the impact and greatness he's brought to music. Drake has the most wins and nominations at the Billboard Music Awards in history, with 39 wins and 81 nominations. He has 5 Grammys, 7 American Music Awards, 15 BET Awards, 7 MTV Music Video Awards, 5 Juno Awards, which is Canada's version of the Grammys, and 2 Brit Awards, which is the British Music Awards. He holds the record as the most streamed artist of all time and has the most charting singles than any other artist in Billboard history. He was also named the Artist of the Decade for the 2010s by Billboard and the 4th greatest pop star of the 21st century. This is even more remarkable when you remember that Drake's first claim to fame was on a TV show about teenagers living out their lives in high school called Degrassi. But as you can see, like I said, Drake is undeniably one of, if not the greatest artist of all time. Around the same time Drake had been on his historic run, another artist out of Compton, California was also making noise in the industry and stating his claim as the top artist in hip-hop. I'm talking about the lyrical genius known as Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar has made his way to being known as one of the greatest artists in history of hip-hop through deep and gritty storytelling music and keeping the art of raw lyricism alive in an era when not many lyrical artists like Kendrick get the same notoriety and popularity as other mainstream artists. Kendrick Lamar has put together a very impressive resume, winning 22 Grammys, which is the third most by a rapper, 5 American Music Awards, 7 Billboard Music Awards, 11 MTV Video Music Awards, 1 Brit Award, which I mentioned earlier is the British Music Awards. He is the first rapper to win a Pulitzer Prize for music. He won an Emmy Award for his performance at the Super Bowl this year, and he holds the record for the most wins at the BET Hip Hop Awards with 37 wins. He's had 5 albums and 6 singles go #1 on the Billboard charts. His album Good Kid, Mad City is the longest charting rap album of all time. When you hear all that, it's impossible not to consider him one of the greatest of all time. Kendrick has more than solidified his spot in hip-hop history, and so has Drake. And with them both having the impact they had around the same time, it was pretty much destined for them to clash. In 2024, these two would finally go head to head, track for track, in a battle that will always be remembered in hip hop history. But if you really are a fan of both artists, then you know this beef has been brewing for over a decade. The two started off as somewhat cool with each other, even collaborating on songs together, and Drake even putting Kendrick on one of his greatest albums, Take Care, in 2011. In 2012, Drake would also bring Kendrick out on his Club Paradise tour, which many consider was a significant boost for Kendrick's career. But as I mentioned earlier, Kendrick comes from a battle rap background, and he would heavily display this in 2013 with his verse on a song called Control, when he would call out several big names in the industry, including Drake. Drake initially downplayed the diss and didn't take it serious.
After Kendrick's thing, you wouldn't, I noticed you didn't really get into that too much, so.
I just I don't know, it just wasn't real to me. It's like, I saw him after that, and it was just like love. So it's like, was that real, or was that just like for the people? You know what I mean?
I think it's a sparring kind of sport.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, then let it be real then, I mean, because those were harsh words, right? So it's like, you can't just say that and then see me and be like, yeah, man, what's up? Pretending like nothing ever happened. Like, that's not real. To me, that's not like the nature of battling. I mean,
but as the years went by, both artists would take slick shots at each other through music, but wouldn't put a name on it. That would come to an end in 2024 when Kendrick would drop a verse on Like That, which is a song by Future that was featured on the joint album by Future and Atlanta producer Metro Boomin called We Don't Trust You, which many have said is a direct diss at Drake. It's alleged that both Metro and Future had issues with Drake over different reasons, so the title of the album and several songs and features on the album were aimed at Drake. On the song Like That, Kendrick would end the sneak diss and directly go at Drake and J. Cole, responding to a single Drake and Cole had dropped called First Person Shooter, when Cole would actually acknowledge that him, Drake, and Kendrick are the big three in hip-hop, when he would say, love when they argue who the hardest MC. Is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey, or me? We the big three like we started a league. But the song was mainly the two bigging up each other and also still stating they feel they are #1 respectively, with Cole saying, we the big three, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali, who is recognized by many as the greatest boxer ever. And Drake later saying he's one away from Michael, which is Michael Jackson, who is considered by many the greatest music artist of all time. It's also worth noting that even though J. Cole recognized Kendrick as the big three, Drake would only mention him and Cole throughout the songs, with lines like big as the Super Bowl, but the difference is it's just two guys playing stuff that they did in the studio. It seems as if Kendrick took this as his opportunity to finally get it off his chest on this verse, when he would respond by saying, F sneak dissing, first person shooter, I hope they came with 3 switches. Remember the song I just mentioned by Drake and J. Cole was called First Person Shooter. Then saying, mother F the big 3, it's just big me. Remember Cole mentioned in that same song that him, Drake, and Kendrick are the big 3. He continued on the verse by saying, your best work is a light pack and Prince outlived Mike Jack. Remember Drake said he's one away from Michael Jackson, and Prince is another all-time great artist who was compared to Michael Jackson throughout his career. But he wasn't done there, because he would end it off with saying, for all your dogs getting buried, that's okay with all these 9s, he gon' see Pet Cemetery. Drake has an album called For All the Dogs. And side note, yeah, I skimmed around some of those lyrics and left out certain words I didn't think would be acceptable by YouTube terms before anyone points that out. Just had to get that out there. But as you can see, Kendrick did not hold back at all in this verse and was clearly directing that more at Drake than J. Cole. That wouldn't stop Cole from initially responding to the verse in a song called 7 Minute Drill by saying, I got a phone call, they say that somebody dissing. You want some attention, it come with extensions. He's still doing shows but fell off like the Simpsons. Your first ish was classic, your last ish was tragic. Your second ish put people to sleep, but they gassed it. Your third ish was massive, and that was your prime. I was trailing right behind, and I just now hit mine. Now I'm front of the line with a comfortable lead. How ironic, soon as I got it, now he wants something with me. My text flooded with the hunger for a toxic reply. I'm hesitant. I love my brother, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm powered up for real. That ish would feel like swatting a fly. 4 albums in 12 years, I can divide. It looked like Cole was loaded and ready to go at Kendrick, but that would be a battle that would have to stay in the dreams of many hip hop fans, because shortly after he dropped the song, J. Cole would publicly apologize at his annual Dreamville Festival show, saying it felt wrong in his spirit to go at Kendrick like that, and also acknowledged him as one of the greatest.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I moved in a way that I feel spiritually feel bad on me. Like I try to jab my nigga back, and I try to keep it friendly, but at the end of the day, when I listen to it and when it comes out and I see the talk, that shit don't sit right with my spirit. That shit make me feel, that shit disrupts my fucking peace. So what I wanna say right here tonight is, in the midst of me doing that and in that shit, trying to find a little angle and downplay this nigga's fucking catalog and his greatness, I want to say right now tonight, how many people think Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest motherfuckers to ever touch a fucking microphone? Dreamville, y'all love Kendrick Lamar, correct? As do I. So I just want to come up here and be like, publicly be like, bruh, that was the lamest, goofiest shit. And I say all that to say, it made me feel like 10 years ago when I was moving incorrectly. And I pray that God align me back up on my purpose and on my path. You know what I mean? I pray that my nigga really didn't feel no way. And if he did, my nigga, I got my chin out. Take your best shot, I'm gonna take that shit on the chin, boy. Do what you do. You know what I mean? All good. It's love.
He would also take the song off all streaming platforms and come out with another song called Port Antonio, giving both Kendrick and Drake their respect and clarifying that he chose to back out of the battle because he didn't want it to turn personal and violent. Well, one person who we know for sure wasn't backing out is Drake, and a couple weeks after the Kendrick verse, he would come out with his own response, which made the battle hip-hop fans all over the world had been waiting years for official. Drake would drop Push-Ups as his first shot in the battle, in which he was addressing several artists who joined in on the Future and Metro album. But the lines ain't that Kendrick. He would say, "How the F you big stepping with a size 7 men's on?" A reference to Kendrick's album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and a jab at Kendrick's size with him being a short and small guy. Extortion baby, whole career you been shook up, cause Top told you drop and give me 50 like some push-ups. Here Drake is alluding that Kendrick's been getting extorted through his contract with Top Dog Entertainment, owned by a guy who goes by the name Top or Top Dog. He continues with Pip Squeak Pipe Down, You Ain't in No Big 3, SZA got you wiped down, Travis got you wiped down, Savage got you wiped down. Like your label boy, you in a scope right now, and you gon' feel the aftermath of what I write down. Drake makes another joke about Kendrick's size by calling him Pipsqueak. He mentions that Big 3 line again by J. Cole, saying Kendrick is not in the Big 3 and naming a few artists who he considers better than him, including Kendrick's label mate SZA, and references Kendrick's joint contract with labels Interscope Entertainment and Aftermath Records with lyrical punchlines. He follows that up by responding to the line that Kendrick said, I'm snatching chains and burning tattoos, by saying, I'll be rocking every chain I own next visit. He finished up with saying, I don't care what Cole think, that Dot-ish is weak, referring to when J. Cole doubled back on saying Kendrick was falling off, and he follows that up by saying how he has better numbers, more money, and sending a warning saying don't wake the demon up. Push Ups debuted at number 2 on the Billboard's R&B and hip hop charts and number 19 on the Hot 100 chart. On the same day, he would drop an AI diss track called Tailor Made Freestyle with features using AI technology from Snoop Dogg and the late great Tupac, who are both West Coast legends that Kendrick Lamar grew up idolizing. A week later, Drake was forced to take the song down after being threatened by Tupac's estate with a lawsuit for using Pac's voice without permission. After Drake dropping 2 tracks in one day, a little over a week later, Kendrick would respond with Euphoria, which is considered one of the best songs in the battle, which is mainly a very aggressive warning to Drake not to make it personal, while also giving him a taste of how personal he's willing to get if it gets that far. He would start this track off with a subtle warning telling Drake, don't tell no lies about me, and I won't tell truths about you. He would then go all gas, no brakes, going at Drake in several different angles, like addressing the AI Pac verse when he said, somebody had told me that you got a ring, I'm ready to double the wage. I'd rather do that than let a Canadian wigger make Pac turn in his grave. He would once again reference the Big 3 line again by saying, it's 3 goats left and I seen 2 of them kissing and hugging on stage. He's referring to when Drake and J. Cole embraced each other on stage during the It's All a Blur tour.
Without a doubt, one of the greatest rappers to ever touch a mic. And I want to let you know, it's way too many people in the world that think and know that J. Cole is at top on the pole position. So don't ever think that shit. I love you with all my heart. You're my brother, one of my favorite artists, and I always appreciate you having me out here. So I just want to say that.
He then makes a very threatening yet confusing statement when he said, yeah, Cole and Aubrey know I'm a selfish wigger. The crown is heavy. I pray they my real friends. If not, I'm YNW Melly. This is threatening and confusing because YNW Melly is a rapper who's currently in jail awaiting trial for a double homicide on his own friends. It's confusing because even though we know Kendrick's background on where he grew up at, he's not known to have a gangster type of image. So it's weird that he would make that type of reference. But after that, he would go line for line going directly at Drake, starting with him letting Drake know he doesn't like that he spoke on Pharrell. He would say, I don't like you popping ish at Pharrell. For him, I inherit the beef. He follows that up by mentioning Pusha T, another rapper who Drake went back and forth with before on diss tracks, and a lot of people feel Drake took the L after Pusha T released a track that exposed to the world that Drake had a son that he was keeping out from the public. He would say, yeah, F all that pushing P, let me see you push a T. You better off spinning again on him, you think about pushing me. He followed that up with another warning saying, we ain't gotta get personal, this is a friendly fade, you should keep it that way. I know some ish about wiggers that make Gunna wanna look like a saint. He then goes on a crazy rant saying the beef ain't about competition, it's about them really not liking each other, and starts telling Drake everything he hates about him, saying, this ain't been about critics, not about gimmicks, not about who the greatest. It's always been about love and hate. Now let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, it's gonna be direct. We hate the females you smash cause they confuse themselves with real women. The rest of the song was filled with more reasons why he hates him, even speaking on the fact that Drake is not fully black and he doesn't like the way he says the N-word. But the most disrespectful part about this song was when he would attack Drake's character as a father, saying, I got a son to raise, but I can see you know nothing about that. Waking him up, know nothing about that. Tell him to pray, know nothing about that. Then giving him tools to walk through life like day by day, know nothing about that. Teaching him morals, integrity, discipline. Listen, man, you don't know nothing about that. This goes back when I mentioned before when Pusha T exposed the fact Drake has a son that he's hiding from the world. He finishes it up with one last warning saying, if you take it there, I'm taking it further. Psst, that's something you don't want to do. After this violating diss, it was clear that Kendrick was not holding back at all and was willing to really take it as far as possible. We just didn't know till later how far he really meant. A few days later, we would see a true back and forth tit for tat that kept us hip hop fans glued to our screens like an action-packed thriller movie. On May 3rd, Kendrick would drop again, mimicking Drake with dropping back-to-back songs before a response. He dropped 616, which was similar to the now deleted Taylor Made song that Drake dropped, because both songs seemed like the two artists playing mind games and poking the bear type of feel to it just to draw a response, because the song was filled with lines to make Drake question the people around him, saying, are you finally ready to play? Have you ever? Let's see. Have you ever thought that OVO is working for me? Fake bully. I hate bullies. You must be a terrible person. Everyone inside your team is whispering that you deserve it. Know the wires in your circle should puzzle you. If you were street smart, then you would have caught that your entourage is only to hustle you. 100 wiggers that you got on salary, and 20 of them want you as a casualty, and one of them is actually next to you, and 2 of them is practically tired of your lifestyle, just don't got the audacity to tell you. He would end the song leaving Drake with something to think about, saying, it's time that you look around on who's around you before you figure that you're not alone. Drake wasted no time with his response and would drop Family Matters on the same day. Drake would not hold back at all in what I feel was a response to Kendrick making this personal when he brought up Drake's relationship with his son in the song Euphoria, and Drake would return that same energy with showing Kendrick he's not afraid to get personal. He would start the song off letting Kendrick know all gloves were off since he mentioned his son, saying, you mentioned my seed, now deal with his dad. I gotta go bad, I gotta go bad. Oh, and remember how Kendrick said he doesn't like the way Drake says the N-word? Well, Drake would start the song off saying the N-word and saying, I know that you mad. The hook of the song, Drake was letting everybody, including Kendrick, know he was trying to keep things civil, but Kendrick made it personal. He says, I was really trying to keep it PG. He would respond to Kendrick saying he hates the girls that Drake has been with by saying, say you hate the girls I smashed, but what you really mean, I've been with black and white and everything that's in between. He then gets very personal, speaking on Kendrick's relationship with his wife, his ex, and his son, and even hinting that one of Kendrick's kids might not actually be his, but his manager's, by saying, you the black messiah wifing up a mixed queen, and hit Vanilla Cream to help out with your self-esteem. On some Bobby-ish, I wanna know what Whitney need. All that puppy love was over in y'all late teens. Why you never hold your son and tell him say cheese? We could've left the kids out of this, don't blame me. You a dog and you know it, you just play sweet. Your baby mama captions always screaming, save me. You did her dirty all your life, you trying to make peace. I heard that one of them little kids might be Dave Freeze. He takes another shot at Kendrick, questioning his talent of a hitmaker, giving credit to a label mate of his, saying K.Ish only hitting hard when Baby King put his pen to it. He follows that up with a flurry of lines responding to things Kendrick previously addressed in his previous songs and trolling at the fact that Kendrick is inconsistent at putting out music. He also called Kendrick out for a fade. He says, Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone go hand him a Grammy right now. Where is your uncle at? Cause I want to talk to the man of the house. West Coast wiggles do fades, right? Come get this whooping, I'm handing them out. You want to take up for Pharrell, then come get his legacy out of my house. A cease and desist is for O's. Can't listen to lines that come out your mouth. You called the Tupac estate and begged them to sue me and get that ish down. Drake then takes another personal shot, mentioning Kendrick's kid and trolling at the persona that Kendrick portrays as being pro-black. He says, our son should go play at the park, 2 light-skinned kids. That ish would be cute, unless you don't want to be seen with anyone that isn't blacker than you. Drake wouldn't stop there with personal bars, but this time it would be aimed at Kendrick's relationship with his wife and would allege that the two have domestic issues, saying, when you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense cause she bigger than you? Your back is up against the curb, you digging for dirt, should be digging for Why did you move to New York? Is it cause you living that bachelor life? Proposed in 2015 but don't want to make her your actual wife. I'm guessing this wedding ain't happening, right? Cause we know the girls that you actually like. Your darkest secrets are coming to light. He finished the song up with one more personal shot, alleging again that Kendrick puts his hands on his wife, saying they hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen. This song in many people's eyes even the feel back up. Kendrick came with euphoria, but as Drake came with bars, responded to everything Kendrick had addressed and matched Kendrick's energy with getting personal and dropping bombs about Kendrick and his wife's relationship. However, just when Drake and his fans had gained momentum, it wouldn't last long because Kendrick would go back to back again with diss tracks on the same day as his song 616 in LA and Drake's Family Matters, and the second one being the next day. But these weren't just your average diss tracks. These would be 2 extremely violating, gut-wrenching tracks that would change this whole battle in a way that, in my opinion, I don't think anyone could have came back from. Starting with Meet the Grams, which I mentioned dropped on the same day as Family Matters. And let me just say, I don't even know if sinister is a strong enough word to describe this song, because Kendrick, in the most wicked way possible, went at not just Drake but included family members. It was exactly as the title says, because for those who don't know, Drake's real name is Aubrey Graham, and this was an attack on the family tree, and he started the song off mentioning Drake's son, saying, Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father. Let me be honest. It takes a man to be a man. Your dad is not responsible. I look at him and wish your grandpa would have wore a condom. And you're a good kid that need good leadership. Let me be your mentor since your daddy don't teach you ish. Don't be ashamed about who you with. That's how he treats your moms. Don't have a kid that hide again. Be sure 5% will comprehend. But 95 is lost. Be proud of who you are. Your strength comes from within. Lot of superstars that's real, but your daddy ain't one of them. And you nothing like him. You'll carry yourself as a king. Can't understand me right now. Just play this when you 18. He follows that up with addressing Drake's mother, speaking to her about the way he feels Drake manipulates and disrespects women. He says, Dear Sandra, your son got some habits. I hope you don't undermine them, especially with all the girls that's hurt inside this climate. You a woman, so you know how it feels to be in alignment. with emotions, hoping a man can see you and not be blinded. Sandra, sit down. What I'm about to say is heavy. Now listen, your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think wiggers like him should die. He hates black women, hypersexualize them with kinks of a nympho fetish. He hops right from the mother to the father, blaming him for the type of man that Drake is and how he feels Drake uses the fact that his father is black to fit in with the culture by saying, "Dear Dennis, you gave birth to a master manipulator. Even using you to prove who he is a huge favor. I'm blaming you for all his gambling addictions, psychopath intuition, the man that like to play victim. You raised a horrible effing person, the nerve of you, Dennis." He then goes into addressing the type of people Drake has around a part of his OVO label and throws some sick allegations out there. He says he got sex offenders on OVO that he keep on a monthly allowance. A child should never be compromised and he keeping his child around him. And we gotta raise our daughters knowing there's predators like him lurking. He even takes it farther by wishing death on Drake by saying, "F a rap battle, he should die so all these women can live with a purpose." He continues on by alleging that Drake and some of his people are predators and wanting everyone like LeBron and Curry, who have been known to be associates with Drake, to keep their family away. Kendrick then does a verse that would really catch everyone's attention by pulling a Pusha T move by exposing that Drake allegedly has another kid that he has hid from the world, this time being a daughter. He says, "Dear baby girl, I'm sorry that your father not active inside your world. He don't commit to much in his music. Yeah, that's for sure. He's a narcissist, misogynist, living inside his songs. Try destroying families rather than taking care of his own. Should be teaching you timetables and watching Frozen with you. But I would like to say it's not your fault that he's hiding another child. Give him grace. This the reason I made Mr. Morale. I'll tell you who your father is. Just play this song when it rains. Yes, he's a hit maker, songwriter, superstar, right? And an effing deadbeat that should never say more life." He ends the song by addressing Drake himself, telling him he made it personal when he spoke on his family and calling him out for everything he touched on throughout the song, including saying everything about Drake has been a lie behind a persona he puts up. He says, "Dear Aubrey, I know you probably thinking I wanted to crash your party, but truthfully, I don't have a hating bone in my body. This supposed to be a good exhibition within the game, but you effed up the moment you called out my family's name. The skin that you living in is compromised in personas. Can't channel your masculine even when standing next to a woman. You a body shamer. You gon' hide them baby mamas, ain't you? You were embarrassed of them. That's not right. That ain't how mama raised us. You lied about your son. You lied about your daughter. You lied about them other kids that's out there hoping that you come. You lied about the only artist that can offer you some help. F a rap battle. This a long life battle with yourself." As a Drake fan myself, even I have to admit it was hard going through these lyrics because he completely, in a way only Kendrick himself can do, dissected and took Drake apart piece by piece. And the scary part about it is, little did we know that was just a warm-up for the song that took the entire world by storm, becoming a massive global hit that would send Kendrick on a historic run like we've never seen before, while shaming Drake's name and character while doing it, because the day after dropping Meet the Grams, he would drop what may just be the greatest diss song in history just off the impact he had. I'm talking about the song Not Like Us. In this song, Kendrick would follow up with those allegations he started in the previous song about Drake being a predator and saying he's not accepted by the culture anymore. This would definitely be what Kendrick felt like was the nail in the coffin on Drake's career. He starts off by saying, "Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any woman that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him." He then goes at members of OVO again like Chubbs, Baca, and Party Next Door, and saying certified lover boy, certified pedophile. He throws a shot at Drake again by liking them young with what is the most catchy line from the song, unfortunately for Drake, which is trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor. He goes at him faking a persona again by using a line from a movie about a rich white guy impersonating to be a gangster rapper to be accepted by saying B-Rad stands for witch and you Malibu's most wanted. He speaks on Drake having relations with Lil Wayne's girl at the time when Wayne was in jail, which Wayne had said himself years ago, even though Wayne is the one who brought Drake into the rap game and the two have seemed to always have a close relationship. He says, effed on Wayne's girl while he was in jail, that's conniving, then gets his face tatted like a witch apologizing. He then goes on to defend Drake's ex and Hall of Fame tennis player Serena Williams, who is also like Kendrick from Compton, and calls out one of Drake's associates again for being a predator, saying, from Alondra down to Central, Wigga better not speak on Serena and your homeboy need a subpoena. That predator move in flocks, that name gotta be registered and placed on neighborhood watch. He goes back again to Drake using the culture to further his career and persona by comparing it to how slave owners used slaves to make them richer. He would say, the settlers was using town folk to make them richer. Fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. You run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you. This the real Wigga challenge. You call Future when you didn't see the club. Lil Baby helped you get your lingo up. 21 gave you false street cred. Thug made you feel like you a slime in your head. Quavo said you can be from the north side. 2 Chainz say you good but he lied. He would close it out by turning Drake's label name from OVO to a chant saying OVHO. This song was all about further damaging Drake's image, alleging he's a sex predator that likes young girls, turning the culture on him by calling him a colonizer, attacking the people a part of his label by calling them certified pedophiles and OVHO, with the agenda of completely ending Drake's career. Even though this would be the song that undoubtedly won the battle, Drake would respond with one more song called The Heart Part 6, which in its own is a troll at Kendrick for his The Heart series of songs, and he would call Kendrick out, challenging him to show proof of anything he said in those previous songs about the allegations he put on Drake's name, and exposing how he purposely fed Kendrick false info to see if he would run with it before validating it. He would say, first I was a rat, so where's the proof of the trial then? Where's the paperwork or cabinet is filed then? You waited for this moment, overcome with desperation. We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information. A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it. We thought about giving a fake name or a destination, but you so thirsty you not concerned with investigation. Debunking the rumor that Drake had another kid. He continues with going back at Kendrick with his own personal issues with, and why isn't Whitney denying all of the allegations? Why is she following Dave free and not Mr. Morale? You haven't seen the kids in 6 months. The distance is wild. Dave leaving heart emojis underneath pics of the child. He goes again at how Kendrick put out false info saying, instead of being on some direct-ish, you rather effing grab your pen and misdirect-ish. Then digs at Kendrick about what he allegedly went through during his childhood, which Kendrick raps about in one of his songs, saying, that's that one record where you say you got molested. Oh, F me, I just made the whole connection. This about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confessions. This is when your father leave you home alone with no protection. So neglected. That's why these pedophile raps and issues you so obsessed with. It's so excessive. He then responds to the allegations of him liking them young, as Kendrick put it, by saying, I never been with no one underage, but now I understand why this the angle that you really mess with. Just for clarity, I feel disgusted. I'm too respected. If I was effing young girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. Drake is not a name that you gon' see on no sex offender list. Easy does it. You mention A minor, but Wiggers gotta be sharp and tell the fans who was it. He closes it out by standing on a legend. Kendrick puts his hands on his wife saying, I don't wanna fight with a woman beater, it feeds your nature. When I see you like Fantasia and Whitney, you can hit me if you need a favor. And when I say I hit your back, it's a lot safer. The impact of Not Like Us overshadowed how lyrically great this song was. He exposed that Kendrick was putting out fake info with no proof to back it up, even some that Drake fed him purposely. The way he used the A minor line and added that people gotta be sharp and tell the fans who it was. That's a great bar, but nobody remembers it. The back and forth would come to an end after an incident at Drake's house in Toronto when shots would be fired and his security guard would be hit but would make a full recovery.
There was a shooting outside of Drake's home in Toronto earlier yesterday morning around 2 a.m. and it was reportedly a drive-by shooting. Police did confirm that they did catch the shooting on camera. It was confirmed that Drake was not harmed or injured in the shooting, and it was never even revealed whether he was there or not. One of Drake's security guards who was standing outside of the front gate was shot in the chest, and he is now in critical condition.
No one has been arrested for this, and no suspects have been named still to this day. There has been nothing that tied Kendrick Lamar or anyone associated with him to this shooting. It was clear that Kendrick had won the battle with Not Like Us, but I don't think anyone expected what was to come. Kendrick would capitalize heavily on this momentum while humiliating Drake in the process. The battle was one thing, but the song Not Like Us was a whole nother beast in its own. It would debut at #1 on the Billboard charts, which started a historic year-long run, remaining on the charts, becoming the only rap song to achieve this. It would also gift Kendrick a clean sweep at the Grammys, winning Song of the Year, Record of the Year, Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance, and Best Music Video. A week later, Kendrick headlined the Super Bowl and broke the record for the most watched Super Bowl halftime performance, surpassing the great Michael Jackson. He also made history, becoming the first solo rap artist to headline the show. He used this opportunity to get across a message he has been pushing his entire career about civil rights in America. But of course, he would close out the show performing Not Like Us, which many would say was the reason he was selected to headline the show, which is hard to argue due to the massive success behind it. And he would publicly humiliate Drake on the biggest stage while bringing out Drake's ex Serena Williams on stage while performing the song. Kendrick also used this track to bring the West Coast together with the music video and a concert called The Pop Out, where Kendrick would bring out past, present, and future West Coast artists on stage like Dr. Dre, E40, YG, Ramble, Roddy Ricch, and more. He would perform Not Like Us 5 times during the concert with several people on stage, some known to associate with Drake, dancing along to the diss track. But this would be nothing compared to Kendrick performing all the diss tracks in Drake's hometown of Toronto, Canada during his tour, and what had to be the ultimate humiliation for Drake, watching his own people sing along to songs degrading him in the worst way.
I see around, certified lover boy. Fuck 'em up. I'ma think my stuff. When you chillin' like a bitch, ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord, and it's probably.
This seems to have been the final stamp on the battle for Kendrick, as things have seemingly slowed down on his part with the Drake dissing. He also dropped an album during all of this called GNX, which debuted at #1. While Kendrick was already a very successful artist before, even he can't deny that the battle with Drake took his career to a whole nother level and brought him historic success. This was the most we have heard and seen Kendrick consistently during his entire career. On the other hand, Drake has since filed a lawsuit against UMG, which is the record label him and Kendrick both are signed to, accusing them of defamation and harassment for promoting Not Like Us, which falsely accuses him of having relations with underage girls, and that UMG knew these allegations were false but still heavily promoted the song, even accusing them of paying for streams to boost the numbers for the song. UMG has denied these allegations as the case is still active. Many see this as Drake being a sore loser and upset because he lost the battle, but others see it as justified because who wants the whole world thinking these allegations are true about him and underage girls? That is something that not only affects his career but tarnishes his image as a human being. However, for those who thought this would quote unquote end Drake's career, that has not been the case, as Drake would drop a collab album with Party Next Door, which would debut at #1 on the charts, leading to Drake now being tied with Jay-Z and Taylor Swift for the most #1 albums by a solo artist in history. Every song on the album would also make it on the charts as well. He is now gearing up for the release of his first solo album since the battle, and has dropped a few songs addressing how a lot of people he thought was friends switched up and went ghost on him during the battle. He has also given hints that while Kendrick may have won the battle, the war is far from over. Now, in my opinion, I hope Drake uses this album to close the chapter on all this and move on with his already legendary career. Just take the L and keep making great music. He has the talent and fan base that no matter what someone says, whether it's true or false, the only person that can end his career or even knock him down from being considered one of the top artists in the world is Drake himself. Both are once in a lifetime artists and will go down as two of the greats of all time. This battle, despite some questionable tactics from Kendrick with allegations that he has yet to show any proof of, will still go down as one of, if not the greatest battle in hip hop history. Only time will tell what's to come for these two artists in the future. This was the story of Drake versus Kendrick Lamar.
They made you rap again. You can't just mumble your way and gimmick your way to a song no more, buddy. So thank y'all.